Good morning and welcome back to Nathan's Garage. Can you tell? It's bed day. I'm so excited. Intimidated and procrastinating to a point because after this, we've got the wiring filleting and then everything comes back off to kind of finish weld and all that kind of stuff. On that front, with this getting mobile and a bit more complete, I have a question. What would you guys like to see next as a project? I think I have one in mind that is going to be a flip to bring in funds which are needed. But I'd like to know what you guys want next. I'm just intrigued. See what you think would be good. Let's get to bed. Now, we always have the inevitable spread. So when we start the projects, obviously you've got two cars blown up, so you need everything. Then one car kind of comes together and then you start spreading into the other area and then you need that area. So that's the point at which I'm at. Very interesting emotional journey going through Car Alley like this because obviously the Mutt was the last big build before this. And I've never really cleaned it out. It just kind of got abandoned and left. So all down the sides of the concrete and all that kind of stuff, there's just bits of memorabilia, which is just very interesting because I really don't like builds that I don't complete. You know, I really have it on my bucket list to build one, and a fine Beetle will be built one day on what we don't know. Maybe a PDK in one of them, but we shall see. But yeah. It was good to get everything kind of in order in this area. Any kind of level of cleanliness can help so much in a tight area like I have. So doing all this really put me on the front foot for the rest of the project. See, that's why things take so long, because I get distracted. Neighbour Rick gave me those. I think they're going to go in that back corner over there. Should hold plenty of crap. We have everything that was dotted around the garden. As you can see, a little chaotic. To possibly make a bed. So front, two sides, and rear cross member there, and then the three are the ones in the middle. So we have some decent bones. And then we have these. We got to figure out where all these go now. Fun times. Originally, when I planned to put this bed on, I wanted Wife-tastic to help me because I was just going to put like rest one side on the actual truck itself, then try and fit the front panel to one of the sides and then get her to hold it and then try and fit the other bedside to that front panel. And in hindsight, with how cumbersome this was in the end, that would not have been the right thing to do. This was the best way. I'm quite sure there are some paint people, not that they would be crying about my paint finish, but the fact that I'm dragging panels on a concrete floor that have been final painted, should we say in quotation marks, will probably make a few people cry. But they have seen way worse, and a lot of the bases and the bottoms and the curves of the bottoms are unbelievably misshapen. So not a lot was really changing right now. And yeah, I couldn't have done it if I didn't do it this way. Wife-tastic's home. I was going to try and like hold the side while I put this on, but it's just not gonna.
Oh my god, so exciting though.
It's a real tongue out moment. Oh, I was racking my brains trying to think why we have one more, but it was a long bed. That's why it was a long bed. Oh, tough times, people. You lose a washer, you find a washer. This really has become such an interesting part of the build for me, this whole recycle. This is officially Cal the Recycler. Thumbs out. Okay, rear cross member. Here we go. I know this one is an absolute pain in the arse to do. Have you ever thought beds didn't flex? Think again. I mean, everything's relatively loose. But yeah, there is so much movement. I have to slice this here because this is bowed. And it's fine when you're bolting onto an old frame, but when you're making new mounts, it's better for it to be as square as possible, as straight as possible as well. I wonder if a ball kicked it. We're transporting a bull. Kicked it right there. I come across an interesting discovery in having fitted the second to rear cross member and then trying to fit a rear cross member in that's the same width with a rear panel that curls round. You see here I'm moving forward majestically, methodically, till now. Seem to have backed myself into a little bit of a corner because they won't do that. Let's get this in. It won't go straight. Who said brute force didn't work? Come on, so close. Bit of persuasion. Those two in there. Fun times. This did actually go slightly better than I was expecting. Woo-hoo. You can tell I'm not a mechanic because I'm complaining about this. I know there's BMW mechanics out there going, seriously, you can get your hand in? And you're complaining. Do it. Oh my. Whew. One thing I now realise is how much play there is in axle stand shafts or whatever you want to call them, they rock. So when you're trying to square up a bed and you've got to work within the rock of axle stands, it can be very measure 1,000 times, even when you only need to measure 6. Because you're on axle stands instead of something that doesn't move, you've got to measure a lot. We did it, we kept going and kept going and kept going, and we got it square eventually. When I got this truck, the person who put the bed on, because it was a utility body truck, the person who'd done the bed welded this thing in. That was fun. No! I was just about to say, wouldn't I be an idiot to kick it now? I don't think it moved. Okay, we have another 2 on the back, which are nowhere near playing ball right now. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help. Corner measure again. 98. Lovely. Definitely getting better. I'll tell you what, it is a good feeling having stuff come out of, like, should we say storage, exterior storage, and get built back up and start to kind of leave being left here for over 2 years. That's going on tomorrow. One thing I was just having a look at is the mount for the wheel wells. I remember on the orange truck, which was about this low, I had problems whenever I went over a corner like that way, that wheel would wedge against the wheel well and jam. So I won't be surprised if we're going to be cutting across that line, raising it up and welding back in. I have a feeling that is going to be happening, but right now, excellent. I think I'm going to be slicing that because I've tried to straighten it and I ain't having it. So I think we'll be slicing it, sandwiching it, and then welding it back together. Look at the state. I think they need to drag this bed out of like the ocean. Excellent. So we'll see tomorrow where the hump lies. I think that's going to be going to get the bed on. If I can remember rightly, I think it's the rear cross member behind the rear wheels that goes. But yeah. So bits, bed, and truck ready with gas tank mount made. Game on. We're making progress, people. Look at that. That's some OCD for you. Well, no, it's just what you should do, what I normally don't do. Mobile welding unit. Can only do local jobs though, because pushing it is a pain in the ass. Okay, other end, cut-a-rooney, and then we're gonna clamp it straight, weld it back up. I had originally planned on using that big piece that's in the foreground, but then realised I didn't need anything that long, so the shorter piece would be fine. And it ended up working out. The bed was, well, once I cut it, was surprisingly flexible, and 4 of those clamps got it straightened back up. I did have to kind of wedge more metal in to try and take it past, and then when it flexed back, it was good. You know what? I think it's about 97% better. Game on? This is getting more like an assault course every day. How do we get out? Oh my god, oh my god. One-legged squats aren't as easy as they used to be. In fact, it's completely impossible now. Played the lottery, by the way. Wish me luck. Can you imagine how crazy the bills be? I've won the lottery. Jesus, it'd be insane. It's like an entire warehouse of craziness. It would be hooligan party. Good morning. This is a momentous day. We have a truck with a bare arse and an arse cover. Let's get on. About the best camera angle I can get you at right now. So here goes. Let's see which end comes up first. I found this is just about the best way to get a bed on if you've only got an engine crane to use and straps. I've done it from the side. When the truck was on the original frame, I did it from the side, and it's just a bit more hairy. Whereas this, literally just back it up, and as long as you have the bed high enough, the truck goes straight under-ish. It's going to bang around and stuff like that. But you're not going to do too much damage. Just maybe a few scratches, which on this particular project is fine. Here goes nothing. guys a quick shufty at what I mean. So as I say, brake lines are on top there, that cross member, worried about that. And then my wildly off assumption for the rear of the frame. Luckily, I only tacked it on, so those tacks are going to be getting undone, and this back end of the frame is going to be going down. So that means that cross member will then touch down. I don't know if that'll be far enough for it to clear the tyres, because it's at the angle right now. We'll see. We shall see. I think you call this semi-glove-like. So we're on block of wood over there, block of wood there, whatever here, backs off, and then we've got this cross member that's sat there. So we now know we're going to be cutting right there. Yeah, so I can get it in the garage now, and then get the bed up on axle stand so it's off the truck. What do we think? Obviously it's not right yet, but you know, it's hilarious. So we'll get that bed down. God, this does make me laugh. When this truck gets pulled out for the first time with the bed at the right height and all that, it's going to look insane. Absolutely insane. I'm so happy with how this bed's turned out. Oh my word. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one.